We're rolling.
Just wanted to let you know.
All right. Both Chris and I have had one hell of a long week. I know that they got a lot going on.
It's been a long time no see.
Burns, I'm sitting here with Matt Burns. So Matt, let's talk a little bit about Apolloween, how you got involved with this year, and what your role is.
Well, I'm basically just doing my thing as the promoter, getting the word out, maybe hopefully getting some cool, side things to go along with the event. The event needs no embellishment. I mean, it's been around for many years. I mean, we hope to, stay true to the name or whatever. I mean, Jennifer Roberts is back. She's really doing well with it, along with Johnny Sullivan, myself, and Matthew Amos. We're the kind of the fearsome foursome we call ourselves now, which is funny. I'm definitely more on the promotion side because those guys can build circles around me. It was funny watching me try to use a drill the other week. I could barely even use it. Construction's not really my thing, unfortunately. But we got a great team of volunteers, and I think this thing's going to go over really well this year. I know people are hungry to get back out. Hungry to get back out to the concerts and the conventions and all that stuff we missed last year. And I'm glad that people aren't taking it for granted. Like they used to. Like they did pre-pandemic. When they would just not show up. They would just be like, there'll be another one, and then we had a year and a half of nothing.
Right.
Yeah, literally nothing. Yeah, literally nothing. I think people are really, not taking things for granted anymore, which is great, and that's the way life should be. I don't take anything for granted. All the endeavors that I've had, and God knows I've had enough of them. From music to this to the conventions and the movies. I just, you got to live like there's no tomorrow, or what Ferris Bueller say? If you blink, you can miss something. You can miss it or whatever. So. That's how I've always tried to be, and I'm glad that people are starting to find their, spirit again. It's really nice.
Absolutely. What are some of the things that are planned for this year's Apolloween that you're aware of and that you're involved in this early phase of?
Well, we don't have anything in stone yet. We're still very in the early building, as you've seen upstairs. I know you guys have been up there. And we're making great progress up there too. It looks completely different now, and I think we've had our volunteers have really worked hard with that, and I cannot thank them enough, and it's just been wonderful. Like I said, we're talking about bringing in possibly some horror celebrities, maybe even bringing the local Martinsburg Rock School, as you're very well in. Maybe do some movies and some stuff like that or whatever. It takes all kinds. It takes everybody to try to make this work, and we want to make this as cool as we can, and kind of make it different, because again, we have Creekside Manor, and we have a couple other haunts around here, but this one was always known as being one of the better ones, so we want to make sure we get back to that status again. Everybody here really wants this to work, which is great. Everybody's on the same page.
Have you been involved with haunts in the past, and if so, tell us some of the haunts you're associated with.
Well, I was going to say I helped promote the last couple of years for my buddy Jason Hackney, Hackney Haunts, which runs out of the Town Mall of Westminster. And Jason's a really great guy. And we're still friends. And I can't wait. And he's actually got 3 attractions this year. He only had 1 before. He's got 2 mall haunts and a cornfield. So that's actually off property of the mall. And of course, Creekside Manor was always one of my favorites. I'm friends with the Durham family out at the KOA in Williamsport or whatever. They have a great haunt. It's just old school and fantastic. Like I said, those guys are really cool. They're letting us shoot our movie Killed on Arrival out there, which is really awesome. And I met John through Conrad Brooks, who unfortunately is no longer with us. And Conrad was such a wonderful guy. And the other haunt that I've known for years is I know the guys from Markoff's Haunted Forest. Fantastic haunt down on the other side of Rockville, if you ever want to check that one out. It's huge out on this, I think it's like a Christian campsite, but then you walk over a hill and all of a sudden there's this big skull here waiting for you and whatnot. It's pretty killer. Yeah, Markoff's Haunted Forest, and the Land of Fear, also right outside Westminster, which is at a paintball park. And the last one I'm going to name is Lewis Brown and Darkwood Manor. The first movie I was ever in with Conrad, we shot there. And Lewis is a great guy as well. He's kind of like one of our. Jen's good friends with him. We've all known each other for a long time. So definitely love those guys down in Luray, down by the caverns.
Don't mean to.
Let me get a couple more questions, and then I'll kick them over to you. Okay, let's go over what you have going on in Waynesboro next weekend. And after that one, I have one follow-up on horror. and then I'll turn you over to Chris.
Sounds good. Yeah, next weekend is the Nightmares on Mainstreet Film Festival, which is focusing on all the films that were made kind of in the four-state region. We have a couple of the bigger films like Night of the Living Dead, the original one from '68. They shot outside Pittsburgh. Blair Witch Project, which of course was shot right down in Perkins.
Is the director going to be there for Blair Witch?
He says he's going to try to make it. I don't have Yeah, he's still in Urbana, Maryland. Yeah, but I was going to say Eduardo Sanchez. I was going to say, but he's a very busy guy. I mean, he directs like Supernatural, American. I mean, he's really hit the big time, which is great for him. I mean, it's great for this area to know that people can. I mean, with work, you can really put it in. Bloody Summer Camp, which is the '80s homage with Felissa Rose and our good friends, The Left and Voodoo Love Gods, are both on the soundtrack of that one. Yeah, which I mean, because it was so wonderful to have '80s punk we could actually put on the soundtrack, made it even more authentic. Great film, great film. And Remnants, which I mean, Don, you were there I think you were there with us a few times down in the basement of the Rock School, and I mean that's going to be playing. Got a couple local bands on that as well. Trigger 13, who unfortunately split up, and South of Sobriety, which they're very well known local bar band from this area, and really good band too. And we got MILFs versus Zombies, directed by Martinsburg's own Brad Twigg. He's made a lot of movies, Shriek Show, Death Board. I mean, he's really done well for himself in the low budget indie community. And Brad's a great guy. We're actually working together on something here soon. And the other ones, the other more local filmmakers we're shooting on is Key 13 Film out of Frederick are showing their two shorts right before Waynesboro's own Libby and Libmatic Films. Dead Woman's Hollow, which was loosely based on a true story, actually based on a murder up in Franklin County, and also The Darkness Waits, which was kind of the sequel to that film or whatever, and they were all shot right in Waynesboro as well. So, it's great to have such a great pool of talent in this area. And of course, we got vendors, we got celebrities, we got Sandy Johnson, who was in the original '78 Halloween, John Russo, who wrote Night of the Living Dead, Helly New Day, who was in the original My Bloody Valentine. So really great festival.
To get a good schedule, where would our
just look on Facebook, Nightmares on Mainstreet Film Festival 2021. It's an event page, and we just posted the itinerary basically. So yeah.
A couple of questions on that. What's your role in? Were you an organizer?
Organizer, organizer would be the way to put it. Yeah.
And it's an old cinema in downtown.
Yeah, they've revamped it. But it was. I mean, it's been downtown since the 1920s. I've seen. Yeah, but they've renovated it and everything like that. Obviously, made it more.
Not
new.
Many of those kind of spaces left.
No, it's true, and I mean, and
cinemas.
that theater is owned by the town. It's a non-profit, just like the Apollo
That's
here.
awesome.
It's really a cool thing. So definitely, this is kind of. I mean, when you pay to get into the films, a portion of it goes to the filmmakers, and a portion of it goes to the Waynesboro Theater. So you can't get any more homegrown than that. Yeah. I mean, it goes right where it should. The money goes right where it should this weekend.
Frostburg has a cinema similar to that. So you guys will be projecting video.
Yes.
Is that
Blu-ray, DVD? Yeah.
Blu-ray projected.
Yeah, DVD. Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, and also Kaiser has a space like that too. The Indy on Main, I was going to say, they do concerts right outside of Cumberland and Frostburg as well. They do concerts, and they screen movies there as well, like local films and whatnot.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's most intrigued me about the work that you're doing when you do stuff over in Winchester at Alamo,
right?
And that whole idea of working with your local cinema. And my follow-up. One of the things I enjoy about our relationship, our friendship, is this love of unusual horror films. We both have, we can go back
absolutely,
way into the 20th century. So with everyone we've had on part of the Apolloween, we talk about some of their favorite horror filmmakers, the people who talk to them at a young age. So who were some of the filmmakers that connect you to the horror genre, and what is it about the horror genre that has kept you so engaged in it?
Well, I was going to say George Romero. I always loved the Night of the Living Dead movies, and the way he tells a story, especially with because a lot of the stuff that he talks about, you almost feel like could happen. I mean, look at the pandemic and stuff we were in last year. I mean, it was, of course, it wasn't zombies, but it was the whole outbreak and the quarantine and stuff. I mean, that stuff could actually happen to people. And I always loved like the Ed Wood and Conrad Brooks, way of making films, because it's like, wow, if they can do it, anybody can do it. I mean, I know, but it's still fun to watch. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you always want stuff that you can connect with, with realism and whatnot. And I mean, that's with a lot of these low budget films. You can actually, I think they're a lot more relatable than a lot of the higher end films are. I mean, it's like you could watch it and you'd be like, wow, I can relate to that character. There's a great movie done by a guy I know up in PA, Stephen Mina, and he did a film called Brutal Massacre, a comedy, which was literally him behind the scenes. I'm making like we were kind of doing with the Alamo, of this B movie of this clueless director played by the guy David Naughton. And it was just, I mean, all these people, you can just relate to it so well. It's on Amazon Prime if y'all want to watch. It's really a lot of fun, especially if you've ever been on these B movie sets or whatever. It's just like, a lot of times it is chaos, but but in a good way or in a bad way, depending on the day or whatever. But yeah, it's just there's a lot of great filmmakers out there. I mean, Lawrence Fowler, I really like him. He's out of England. He's got Curse of the Doll and Jack in the Box, which are horror movies, but they're more related around the people and their struggles and what they go through. I mean, it's British. I guess they have a lot more heavy on dialogue, even though the gore is good too. But they definitely have more of that kind of thing. So yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of great filmmakers out there that you just need to find.
Matt, since you said you're an indie creator with filmmaking with like Matt Burns of Surge Productions, Key 13, but you, as stated, you've also done a lot of promotional work with music conventions, 4th State being one of the more popular ones.
Right.
And asking with Don, you said you've done a few haunts. Is there a difference, or is haunts doing a haunt, and a haunt such as Apollo a different type of challenge for you? Or I know each one presents its own challenges, but is it kind of like something new? I know you're always open to a new challenge.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I get bored very easily if y'all haven't noticed. I get bored very easily. But yeah, no, I mean the haunt, this is the first time I've ever been a full-time promoter of a haunt. So this is all brand new to me. So, but I'm sure there's going to be bumps in the road, just like all of them. I mean, music is that. I mean, it's all about making people feel like that you got to make sure that people have a good time and they want to come back. And all. I mean, obviously that's. I'm
sure there's
in any promotion
amongst music promotion, show promotion, and now the haunt. I'm sure there's some similarities where.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of the crossover crowd. Absolutely, yeah.
Therefore, you could say, hey, maybe if this works in A and works in B,
maybe it'll work in C, or maybe it won't. Or maybe things that didn't work in A and B might work in C. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's always. I mean, you always want to keep. You just want to keep pushing along. I mean, and that's the thing. You just got to put in the work. That's what I always tell people. If you're not willing to put in the work, it's not going to do well for you. I mean, it's just. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of a lot of people who want to do it, who want the they want the so-called fame and fortune, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Or they want to be the cool guy on campus or whatever, but they don't put in the work.
Right.
I mean, because and a lot of people think, oh, he can do it, so I can do it, or whatever. Well, that's not always the case. I mean, just there's things I thought I could do that other people could do that I couldn't do. I mean, there's always again, there's always bumps in the road. You gotta just. But I mean, the thing is, you can either let them stop you or you can keep going. Well, I mean, and that's I've always chose to keep going because
I know between as I was talking with Don that doing this for the past 6 years. That's about almost as long as I've known you, is 6 years. And it's just knowing Don, knowing you, it's like I've known so many great, like through you, I've known Mark Byrne, I've known a bunch of other great folks that are out there. Had for the first time a Khan family, thanks to 4th State. So, and you're one of the folks that said, with another mutual tall friend of ours, back when 4th State Horrifying was a thing, nothing, I'm not knocking you for that.
Oh, and
It's
you got
just-
to. That's the thing. You got to learn, and you got to let yourself
right.
learn, and you got to
And
learn from your mistakes.
Back then, it's like a lot of folks who've been paying attention over the past 6 years. You're the one that pretty much said, "You're doing a panel this weekend. Have at it." And me just turning to my buddy and going, "Does he realize we've never done this before?" You're doing it now. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes you just got to. I mean, that's the thing. You can talk, you can research, you can talk, you can do whatever. But eventually, it comes time to do it, and you got to do it. You got to figure it out sometimes. And sometimes you got to figure it out on the fly. I mean, because it's just, it's just.
I got my one Matt Burns' story, and then we can wrap unless you guys don't have anything. The first time I heard your name, I was like, "Who the fuck is Matt Burns?" You had got the Sourpuss. They were going to play in Shepherdstown at the Hippie Bar, and I was thinking to myself, there ain't no fucking way that they're going to play. It's just not going to happen.
And you were right.
I was right.
And you were right.
I was right.
Yeah, you were at that show. Remember that? The hippies revolted, man.
And he goes, Brian Sefcik. I said, who? Brian Sefcik. You're going to see Brian Sefcik in Shepherdstown. And that's what
and it was a benefit for the rock school. That was the funny thing. It was supposed to be a benefit. And I mean, that guy was the bar's now closed. I mean,
the bar was horrible.
Yeah.
I remember.
I would do things there.
Yeah.
And the performers would have to compete over the audience.
Yeah, because they didn't want. No, God, you can't do that. Which is funny because I brought the biggest crowd they ever had in that place, at that punk rock flea market. And you know that. I mean, the place was packed.
The thing is, I was taking pictures like days afterwards, like with boxes of like Norton salt, saying there's less salt in this box than the fries I had at this bar.
Yeah, as I said, the food was not good. And it was overpriced. Well, I mean, welcome to Shepherdstown. I've always had
it's got that hippie thing, and that hippie thing.
It was one of those things
that
in regards to that event, it was like I'm there to promote my show. Matt needed help, even though you took. I think it was like might have been George that brought me up. Somebody brought me up.
Or Sasha or somebody. Right? Yeah.
And you needed help at the door, and I'm like, you know what? Screw. I'll promote when I can. I'll help Matt. That's the thing. When Matt needed help, I'll be the door guy, and that's how I met Brian that night. That was really. I felt horrible about that. I really did. But it wasn't. Brian knew it wasn't my fault. Obviously, Brian and I go back a ways too. And that's. I remember, when I was 18 years old, playing in a band Caltip, opening for the Love Gods in a tattoo shop back in the day.
The last. I don't know if I've got to tell you this. The last Brian's wife died. I didn't know if you knew that.
I'm sorry to hear that. No, I did not.
Andy had called me, and I was surprised by it. But we had the Voodoo Love Gods over at Sky Stage or
right.
show there in the spring. I love the Voodoo Love Gods. I love all of those guys. I've known them for 35 years, whatever. Come to expect the unexpected, but at least as we get older, I expect them to get calmer.
No. Quite the contrary.
Brian throws an empty beer can at TBD, hits.
Oh, the girl. Yeah, I heard about this.
Oh, man. And then, Andy calls me a couple of days later after Brian had tried to talk to her. She was, Andy says, well, they're part of the, cancel culture.
Yeah.